What's up, South Jersey? Welcome to another episode of By the Numbers. We're back tonight for episode 13. Tonight's show is brought to you by the C Bar 2, located at 510 Williamstown Road in Sicklerville, New Jersey. We thank them for sponsoring our show tonight. And if anyone is interested in being a sponsor and looking for sponsorship opportunities, so feel free to just send us an email, shoot us a DM, whether it be on Instagram, Twitter. Instagram being, obviously our most prominent platform right now, D2 Sports Network. Make sure to just reach out to us, and we'd love to have you guys sponsor us. So we're back for another show tonight. A great show lined up. I'm Kevin Emmons, your host, alongside my co-hosts Chris Baker and Roderick Boyd. Roderick Boyd, as I always say, the guy working the magic behind the scenes, co-host and the producer. Um, a big show tonight, Chris. We got a recap of last week's sectional finals that took place in South Jersey and Central Jersey, as well as Stars of the Week and a full semifinal, state semifinal preview this week. And we got two great guests joining us tonight. So a big show ahead. We thank you guys for tuning in. You can check us out on D2 Sports Network's YouTube, on Facebook, or over on Twitter at D2_athletics. Plenty of platforms to check us out at tonight. Chris, I'm excited. This week has been smooth so far. Already through 2 days of work, only 3 days left. We got a big weekend of football that just passed. Another big weekend coming up. How was your week?
Pretty good. Feels good to actually be able to eat solid food now after my wisdom teeth surgery. It's been almost a full 2 weeks now. Got back to work finally, so hopefully the bank account's looking a little better. But now, it's been a pretty good week. I'm excited. The seasons flew by. I mean, it seems like just yesterday we were doing our preseason show, essentially getting ready for Battle at the Beach. Some of those big matchups, and now we're already at state semifinals, looking for people to punch their ticket up to MetLife and Rutgers, and it's flown by.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, only 2 weeks left, but plenty of football to look forward to. And as I previously mentioned, we had a lot of great football this past week, which we'll get into, and obviously some big games coming up this week. So first off, we want to start with our sectional final recap. There was a lot of great games in the area, a lot of South Jersey teams represented in the area. Starting off with a game that you were at, Chris, South Jersey Group 2 final. Haddonfield, the top seed, defeating Delran 28-7 to capture first South Jersey Group 2 title since 2021 and advance to the state semifinals. So just take us through some of the numbers from that game. Just an analysis on what you saw when you were at that game on Friday night.
Yeah, it kind of. I don't want to take anything away from Delran, but it just kind of seemed like Haddonfield with their coaching staff. They've been there, they've done that. I think Coach Delano said, I think they've won like 10 out of the last, I think, almost 20 sectional titles in South Jersey Group 2, or at least in that, with the whole South Central seating as well, too, how that changed the format. But, it, you know, Haddonfield's pedigree is just they've been there. They've done that. When you think of Group 2 in South Jersey, you always think, West Effort, Camden, Haddonfield, some of the other schools too as well, like more of the Colonial Conference schools. And it seemed like, the Haddonfield team, they wanted it a little bit more. There's a little bit of an edge to them because I didn't notice, but talking to Brody Leonard after the game, who also ran 32 times for 201 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's been on an absolute tear this playoff run so far. Um, there's apparently every single class through had football. At least one class has won either a sectional championship or some sort of regional championship or something like that. And they were on the verge of being the first class not to be able to have any sort of hardware. 2022, they had that heartbreaking upset to Gloucester at home. 2023, they lost to, I think it was Willingboro in the final, or Rumson in the final. Last year, I don't think they got to the final. They lost to Rumson again, I'm pretty sure, last year as well, too. So it's been a little bit of a drought for them. You think of 4 years, you think, it's not too bad. It's just one cycle of kids. But for a school like Haddonfield, that's a drought. They're used to winning the sectional title every year. They're used to, running away with their division, getting the sectional title, and preparing to go play up at Rutgers. But it's been different. And I think this class, they wanted it more. They wanted it a little bit. They want to hear it from the alumni because, especially for Brody Leonard, which we'll get into a little bit later, he's the younger brother of Johnny and Jay Foley. So being the younger brother of those two at Haddonfield, it's
Big shoes
big,
to fill.
yeah, that's very big shoes to fill. And I mean, I think he hasn't filled them like to the fullest extent, but Coach Leno said also, he didn't want to be the next Johnny and Jay Foley. He wanted him to be the first Brody Leonard, and I think that a guy like Brody so far has cemented his legacy, at least just everyone alone for Haddonfield.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, I mean, Brody Leonard, an absolute workhorse, 32 carries for 201 yards and 4 touchdowns. Logan Ray and Raphael Lytle, 2 sacks each. The defense with a huge effort there to hold
Yeah.
Delran to 7 points. And you mentioning, Leonard's workload being that he had 32 carries. I know the playoff game before that against Lower Cape May, and then the opening round against Willingboro, and 1-8 game that we talked about because that was a team they had to play earlier in the regular season.
Yeah.
Then the game that goes to double overtime. He's been an absolute workhorse for them. He's been getting a bulk of the carries the past couple weeks. I know you mentioned he's had a couple hundred yards just in these past couple games
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure his numbers so far in the playoffs alone, he has 92 carries, I think, for about 578 yards and 8 touchdowns. That's almost a full season's worth of stats right there for some
Absolutely.
guys. For him to do that in 3 games now, it's kind of baffling. But it just shows that Coach Delano and company, they can lean on him, and I think leaning on him so far has worked out.
Absolutely, and we'll definitely touch base on that again later in the show. Haddonfield will advance to host a Group 2 state semifinal this weekend, but they advanced 28-7 with a win over Delran in the South Jersey 2 final last week. Moving on, we're going to jump to Saturday in the South Jersey Group 3 final. We had Cedar Creek, number 2 seed, hosting number 4 seed Mainland Regional. Cedar Creek wins 34-28, an absolute thriller. Chris, I was at that game. Probably the best game I've been to this year, arguably the game of the year in South Jersey.
Yeah.
I know we have a few candidates for that game, but this game was tremendous. Frenchmont had 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown, 209 passing yards and 104 rushing yards in the victory. Gian King with the game-winning touchdown with 21.4 seconds left, which I'll talk about that in a minute. And then Jameer Canfield, 5 receptions for 92 yards and a touchdown, and also 60 yards on the ground and a touchdown on the ground. But as I said, an insane game. I mean, back and forth. It's a 28-25 game. Mainland gets the ball with 2 minutes, 6 seconds left. They're on their own 42-yard line. They work their way down in the field goal range. Nate Cashy, all South Jersey level kicker, who we've talked about several times in previous shows, being that he holds the record for most extra points made, and he's been a guy that's been around for a long time playing on that Mainland team that's qualified for 4 straight sectional championships and won a state championship 2 seasons ago. He kicks a 41-yard field goal. Okay, this game has the feeling it's going to go to overtime. So Cedar Creek gets the ball back. 33 seconds left was when the field goal was made. First play on the next drive, French Monbethea rolls out. Really nothing there. Play's kind of breaking down. It looks like he's going to run for it. He just heaves one up. Next thing you know, Gian King makes the catch, stays in bounds, and just darts for the end zone. And I mean, it was everything that high school football playoffs are about. The crowd is going crazy. He goes up, he fist bumps one of the fans, along the fence there, one of the parents watching or grandparents, whoever it may be. And it was just a great game from start to finish. One of those games where you watched it and you really didn't know who was going to come out on top. I mean, even talking to some other reporters before the game, it's like, okay, this game could, be a blowout in this team's favor, a blowout in that team's favor. It could be 15-12. It could be 46-44. It could go to overtime. We don't really know what's going to happen here. These two teams are so evenly matched, and it turned out to be everything that we expected it to be. I think a huge thing for Cedar Creek was obviously coming into the game, your game plan is, hey, we got to slow down Amir Dunbar. Amir Dunbar is an all South Jersey running back who, as we've mentioned, this time of year for almost every team still playing, where they have those guys that they're going to try to get the ball to 30, 35, 40 times a game. So as you're Cedar Creek and you're preparing for that, okay, team's probably going to key in on him. And I mean, French Monbethea was absolutely outstanding in that game. A lot of QB draws, a lot of RPOs, and he was able to get out in the open field and make plays. The first touchdown that Cedar Creek scored, he actually set up with a huge run. It actually looked like he was in. They marked him down at the 1. Next play, Amir Dunbar punches it in. His ability to use his legs and be able to throw the football really kept the defense on their toes, and it really made it hard for them to adjust. And I think another thing was Cedar Creek, and I mean, this is cliche. It goes without saying, the team who makes less mistakes at the end of the day usually finds a way to win. And I think that was a key for Cedar Creek. Their first drive, first play of the game, they try to take a shot downfield. Bethea slightly overthrows his receiver, hits him in stride. It's probably a touchdown, but he misses. They get a big run. It gets negated with a penalty. Okay, they got a punt. The first game, they punt. Mainland hits a player. Next thing you know, Cedar Creek falls on it. They go down, they score a touchdown. But Mainland didn't like stand down or nothing. They were going right back. They would go right back down the field. John Franchini scores. It's a 14-10 game, or excuse me, 14-7. And again, comes into play where Cedar Creek was able to capitalize and force turnovers, being opportunistic on defense. They were able to force a fumble as Mainland was driving deep into the red zone. It ends that drive. They maintain a 14-7 lead. Mainland ends up getting the ball back before halftime and kicking a field goal. Now it's a 14-10 game rather than a 14-14 game, which it could have possibly been if they're able to cash in on that drive. And then in the second half, same thing. Cedar Creek would go down and score, but Mainland would immediately respond. Jake Blum with an 83-yard kick return touchdown in that game. And then he also had a receiving touchdown later on in that game that narrowed the deficit 28-25. But I think that was the key for Cedar Creek. They just simply made less mistakes in terms of penalties and forcing turnovers, and that's credit to them for putting themselves in position to do that. I know after the game, Coach James Melody said that they were just simply trying to get into field goal range at that point when they were tied up at 28. And just because they had a good kicker, it's, hey, we just want to get in field goal range and take a shot here. And it ended up being that they didn't even need to take that shot. They were able to score that touchdown. And then on the next drive, Mainland's only got a few seconds to make anything happen. Cedar Creek able to force another fumble. They fall in the fumble. They end up winning that game. So their fourth sectional championship in school history. As I've said probably 100 times on the show, this is a school that opened in 2010. Program's first year was 2011, and they have 4 sectional championships. There's a lot of schools that haven't seen that many sectional championships, and they've seen that many since 2011. And obviously, that's credit to the work that Tim Watson did when he was there, and now James Melody, who's won a lot of games since he's been there, and all the players that they've had come through there, and just been tremendous in being able to just find ways to win with a lot of talented players and great coaches. So they'll advance to the South Jersey Group 3 semifinals. They'll hit the road. We'll talk about that a little bit later on.
It's funny you mentioned Coach Tim Watson also. I mean, he's the defensive coordinator at Mainland, too, in that game. So, I mean,
I didn't see him there. I don't know. I didn't see him. I didn't see him. Maybe he could have been up on the boot on top of the press box, but I didn't see him.
I got you. Last I thought he was still the coordinator there, but I could be wrong. But still, I mean, if he is, that's full circle almost essentially right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we move on to the next game, one final point I want to make about this game is it's awesome too because this was a Saturday game where I believe that game and Winslow and Millville were the only games played in the area on Saturday, and might have been a few other games in the state, but it might just have been those 2 games if I'm not mistaken.
I think there's only 2 public sides. Yeah.
So everyone was there. It was awesome. It was awesome to see every reporter you could think of in South Jersey that you love to see at a game and run into and catch up with. I know Mark was there and Coach Mack, and then you see a lot of former coaches, and obviously, it's a sellout crowd.
Oh yeah.
I was there last week, and I was able to find a parking spot when they played Pleasantville. I got there on the same time this week, and next thing you know, I'm parking on the grass, and I'm like, well, I hope I don't get ticketed. But then a couple other people started following my lead. I was like, all right, well, I guess we're all good.
I'm not the car that gets the ticket.
Yeah. And then before the game started, the game had already started. It was in the first quarter, and someone came over the intercom and said, hey, we got a Nissan in the parking lot. You need to come move in. And I was like, well, I don't got a Nissan. So did anyone else got a Nissan here? No, they didn't have a Nissan. So we were all good. But yeah, tremendous game there. As I said, probably the best game I've been to this season. Definitely candidate for game of the year in South Jersey. Cedar Creek advances. They will play in the Group 3 state semifinals against Homedale next week. We'll talk about that later on. Moving on, another Saturday game that took place, as I mentioned, South Jersey Group 4, Winslow Township hosting Millville. They rolled to a 53-14 win there. Jalen Parker, 15 for 22 passing with 228 yards and 4 touchdowns. Nakeem Powell, the Delaware commit, 20 carries for 124 yards and a touchdown. Nakir Boomer Helton, 7 receptions, 183 yards, 2 touchdowns. I know why Chris is smiling. The North Carolina commit in that game, he also broke the Winslow single season record for receiving touchdowns, 16 receiving touchdowns this season. They're guaranteed another game to play. As we've mentioned several times in the past, Winslow, the team to be in Group 4, so it's looking like they'll have at least 2 more games for him to add on to that record. That's a tremendous record to have considering the amount of talent that has came through Winslow Township in history and also just in recent years. And then Benji Carter and Karan Ali, the Towson commit, both with a pick 6 each in that game. And just pure dominance from Winslow from start to beginning. I know early on it was a 12-7 game. It's like, okay, maybe this will have, the makings of being a good game. But Winslow just was able to just hit it into full gear. And they kind of had, they got the crown now in South Jersey Group 4. I mean, they're the team to beat. I mean, and it's not even just necessarily a team to beat, but we've seen other teams in years past, sort of hold that crown, but it's kind of theirs now. And until someone can dethrone them, it's all Winslow in that group. So moving forward, we have South Jersey Group 5, another game I was at. Kingsway hitting the road to go down to Atlantic City, and they come away with a 38-21 win there. David Oravets, dual threat quarterback, 5 for 14 passing, 91 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air. He threw a touchdown pass to J.D. Johnson and Mason Bryan. Zahir Painter, 15 carries, 83 yards, and a touchdown. And then Jordan Hernandez, tremendous effort on both sides of the ball, a sack, a forced fumble, and a rushing touchdown in the win. And similar to what I mentioned about Cedar Creek and Mainland, a huge key for Kingsway was just being opportunistic and limiting the mistakes. They had less mistakes. Early on, there was a drive early on. What I really thought kind of turned the tide in the game was Kingsway's winning 14-7 early on in the second quarter. Atlantic City's driving. Atlantic City's right outside the red zone. It's a 3rd-and-1. I was expecting, okay, Atlantic probably runs the ball here. Now they take a shot towards the end zone. Okay, so it's 4-down territory. 4th-and-1, try to run the ball out the Wildcat. Kingsway stuffs it. Immediately after that, first play, that next drive, Colton Nick, who we've mentioned several times, in previous shows being a workhorse for Kingsway, breaks off a 61-yard run or 65 yards, goes down, and it sets up another score. Next thing you know, they're able to take a 21-7 lead. They force a turnover. They go down and kick a field goal before halftime, and another kicker, Zach Burlingame, sort of similar to Mainland's Nate Cashy. Yep. He's got long range. So as long as they're able to get to a certain point on the field, that's an advantage that they have. He kicked a 39-yard field goal, and next thing you know, it's 24-7. And from that point, it was pretty much just cruise control. I think they were just, a little bit too physical for Atlantic City. And as I mentioned, they were opportunistic. They forced turnovers when they needed to. It set them up with good field position, and they just simply limited mistakes. There wasn't many penalties, and they just made every opportunity. They took every opportunity that they were given and capitalized. So they win 38-21 over Atlantic City. Tremendous season for Atlantic City. They'll still play Holy Spirit on Thanksgiving. Yep. So another game for them to look forward to. I know it's a big rivalry in South Jersey, and then Kingsway will advance to this Group 5 state semifinals where they'll have a rematch with Washington Township, another game we'll talk about later on. So moving on, next game we want to recap was Central Jersey Group 2. I believe Rick was at this game. Camden, 43-7 win over Wall Township. Ahmad Jones, 15 for 21 passing, 270 yards and 3 touchdowns. Syracuse commit Ibn Muhammad, 4 receptions for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Azir Pagan, 5 receptions, 75 yards, and a touchdown. The offense was efficient. There was explosive plays. The defense dominated. Rick, I know you're at that game. What was your takeaway from that game?
I have to admit, I came in a little bit late. So when I got there, it still was tied up at the half. Kind of asked around, like, what's been going on. Just, kind of a slow start for Camden. Once they came out after the half, it was just full throttle. I mean, pedal to the metal. They were making explosive plays. Defense was just out for blood. Wall really couldn't get nothing going. They were trying to run quarterback power. They were trying to, get the ball to the flat with jets and stuff. But against Camden, their team speed defensively was just, just too fast. I mean, they were literally dominating in all phases of the game from half on, from what I saw. So for Camden, as far as their fans go and as far as the team goes, that's a big win. We all know, and I'm just not talking about those group of kids. I'm talking about just the city of Camden as a whole, right? We're talking about, Rumson and Wall. Those are teams that have been a thorn in the side of Camden when it comes to advancing, right? So to kind of go through multiple teams from that area, they're kind of riding high right now. So dominant win. Everybody looked good. It was kind of hard to pick out a particular player that played really well. They played really good team football.
You close your eyes and throw to a dartboard and see who you land on.
Yeah.
I mean, a really good game.
Initially, as I'm sitting on the sideline trying to figure out, like, who should we have on, right? I was thinking in my head, I'm like, man, maybe we can get 2 or 3 guys from the team on at the same time, something we never done. But as it went on, I'll get to the reason why we have our guest as our guest when he comes in because I don't want to say it now, but
I want
we'll
to spoil
get
the surprise.
we'll get to that. We'll
Anyway,
get
it
to it.
might be time to spoil the surprise. I mean, we talked about the Camden victory, 43-7 over Wall. Rick mentioning it was a close game at halftime. That's what I seen from when I was following along on Twitter.
Yeah.
Obviously, being where I was at, and then seeing, hey, this is a close game, and then from that point it was cruise control. They just dominated. So a huge win for Camden. And I think it's a good time to bring on our first guest. Tonight we have quarterback Ahmad Jones from the Camden Panthers joining us tonight to talk about the dominant victory over Wall Township and obviously Camden advancing. They will face Haddonfield, another team with a lot of history between the two. As we mentioned a couple weeks ago when
Yep.
Camden played Manasquan, there's history in football and basketball. Haddonfield and Camden, another one of those rivalries, traditional South Jersey, Camden County rivalry. So we're looking forward to that. Ahmad, we thank you for joining us tonight. We thank you for taking time out of your night. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess that's a silly question. How you doing? You guys just won a sectional championship, and you guys are advancing to the Group 2 state semifinals. So I should assume you're doing pretty well. I know you had 270
Yeah.
yards and 3 touchdowns in that game. As Rick mentioned, it was a close game early on, but you guys found your footing in the second half and were able to pull away. Just what worked for you guys? How were you able to get into a rhythm, and how were you able to come through with such a huge performance for your team?
Just going into the locker room. At the know we had a slow start. I kind of just talked to all the guys, make sure everybody keep their head on straight, take a pose, and we just come out in the second half and everyone do their 111. And we just got the job done. We dominated in every aspect of the game, and we got it done.
Yeah, and obviously, you guys have sort of found your offensive identity. I mean, this is a team that, has had to play with two different quarterbacks. Obviously, you had to miss the first couple games because of transfer rules and whatnot, but you guys have sort of been rolling on all cylinders through every portion of the season. You guys have had some big wins along the way, and the offense has just been efficient. How have you guys been able to be so efficient? And obviously, that's kind of, gone to a new height once the playoffs came around. You guys have been scoring points left and right. What was it that sort of just took the offense to the next level when the playoffs came around?
All of our athletes. See, we are a team with a lot of athletes, and is all of our athletes stepped up, and we need them to make plays. And every time that their number is called, they made plays, and just doing that every Friday night, we've been getting it done.
I got a question. Kev just mentioned that you were out for a couple games. So for a guy that plays quarterback, how
Yeah.
hard was it for you to sit those 4 games? And what did you do to stay locked in with the team during that process of not playing, that time period of not playing? Sorry about that.
So going into practice, knowing that I have to sit and I can't play, I kind of just tried to still be a great leader, helping guys out. Our freshman quarterback Gregory, who stepped in, he did an awesome job. I was there with him along every step, just making sure he's confident and ready going into every game, and he got it done. So that was good.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, playing at Camden, you're playing now with Coach Rob Hinson. I know you were at Pleasantville before, played with great coaches there. I know Malachi Timberlake was there. What have you learned from these guys, experienced guys who know a lot about the game of football, obviously, and they know a lot about, helping players get to the next level? What have you learned from the both of these guys, and how does it help you grow, not only as a football player, but as, a young man in society and, a student athlete?
Starting with Coach Kai, just since I was a freshman, he kind of just took me in. He had a strong impact on me as like on and off the field, where he taught me a lot. He always used to emphasize to me dominating the details, and meaning like dominating every aspect of the game or just anything you doing on and off the field, dominating every little detail of that, just trying to do the good things and the little things right. And coming into Camden with Coach Henson, he he just he wanted me to be a strong leader. He knew that I was a good player, but he wanted me to be a leader and make sure that everybody on our team is doing what they're supposed to do, or nobody's goofing off or being distracted. Or things. He was just making sure that I'm making sure everybody's doing the right thing and coming in. I did.
I cut out. You there?
You can hear me? Yeah, you can
Yeah,
hear
we
me?
got you. Sorry about that. It cut out a little bit.
Yeah, and I know Rick kind of
Yeah, I was
alluded
just
to it a little
saying.
bit. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, Coach Henson just making sure that I come in and be the best leader that I can be, and making sure that everybody is doing what they're supposed to do on and off the field.
Absolutely. And I know Rick alluded to it a little bit as I was saying, you mentioned, having so many different guys you could throw the football to, and you guys are good in every phase. You're able to run the ball, you're able to throw the ball defensively. Guys are good at each level. And I actually seen the interview on Twitter, following your guys' win. My guy John Lewis, a former colleague of mine at the Burlington Times, I've seen him interview you, and he mentioned, how you guys have so many guys you could throw the football to. I believe all 5 of your touchdowns one of these games was the 5 different receivers, if I'm not mistaken, or something along those lines. So, how does it help you and your approach to just know, like, I got so many guys I can get the football to, and how does everyone, make it work? Everyone seems to be patient; they're fine with it. There's no divas on the team, crying for the football. Everyone plays their role and is patient. How does that all work, and how does it help you as a quarterback?
So yeah, it's definitely great knowing that you got a lot of guys on the field, and every single last one of them guys can make the play when you need them to. But in practice, I just emphasize guys not being selfish and just waiting on their and during this whole playoff run, I feel like my guys been doing well. They haven't been being selfish, and every time they do very well and getting the job done we need them to get done.
Chris, you got anything?
Yeah, man. Like I seen you guys. I think it was either your first or second game eligible against RV. The offense was a little bit sluggish there. It didn't seem like the rhythm was too a little bit in sync. So, what was the biggest factor to get the offense kind of rolling once you got eligible and once the offense was supposed to hit full throttle? What was that the biggest reason why you guys found your rhythm or how you guys found your rhythm?
We just had to come to practice and put it together and keep working. When I first came back, the chemistry was a little off. Like it was like seeming like we wasn't clicking how we were supposed to do, but I was just keeping the guys' head on straight and making sure that nobody gives up and just letting them know that everything is gonna be good. And we've been doing good at making sure that our offense runs strong and everybody's doing their 1 of 11. So I feel like that's good.
Well, I think it's time that I say why I wanted to have him on, right? Um, you guys kind of alluded to it. It's pretty hard when you play with guys who are really good. People think it's easy, right? Quarterback position is one of those positions where people look at some of your skill positions. Oh, they got running backs, they got receivers. Oh, it's easy. Playing quarterback is one of the hardest things. So from one Camden Panther quarterback to another Camden Panther quarterback, I I was there, Chris, like you said. Early on, I was there. I get to see you play, and I get to see you guys working through putting it all together, right? So Chris asked the question, what was the thing? I think it was just the time because I saw them in 7-on-7 and they were doing really good. So with you coming back, the pressures of being a Camden High School quarterback, um, who helped you get through that, through the turbulence of that? Like we know we hear it from the stands. We from the city, right? We hear the things from the stands. Our parents may hear it. Who helped you get through all of all of that to get to this point now where you're playing loose and free?
Just me and my coaches in practice, we just kind of talk about me just blocking out all the noise and all the outsides and just focus on controlling what I can control and being me on the field, coming out every Friday night, making every play that I have to make, and just being a great leader for the team and just me being me.
Mhm.
We got a comment in there from Damon Benjamin. Been doing it since the AC Dolphins. AC Dolphins. I
Yeah.
assume that's a
Yeah.
youth program, prominent youth
Oh yeah, yeah,
program.
yeah, yeah.
I know
Yeah.
you're the youth football guy. You
Yeah.
know all names and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, what was that
Yeah.
experience like? I mean, your youth football days. I mean, obviously, I'm sure you've played with a lot of talented players. So I know I'm stealing a question out of Rick's book. He likes to ask guys, who's someone you know, model your game after, or someone you played with or played against, and it's, wow, this guy's really good. That's someone you sort of look up to as a player, or just simply who's someone you think is, the best player you've ever played with.
The best player that I played with, I played with a lot of good guys. Uh, yeah, I don't. That's a hard question. I played with a lot of good guys,
Setting them
but
up for some
Yeah,
DM
yeah,
battles.
that's a
someone,
setup. That's a setup. Don't do it. I played. Stick with it. I played with a lot of good ones. Stick with it.
Hey, good answer. Good answer.
yeah, I played with a
Hey,
lot of good guys.
yeah, I'm sure there's been a lot of great athletes there. Obviously, from the youth days, and then
Mhm.
Pleasantville and Camden. Obviously, Pleasantville and Camden, I'm well aware of that. As I said, Rick's more aligned with the youth football.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know as much as the history and the backstory behind all that, but I'm sure. So that's a good, safe answer there. But moving on before we let you go, as I mentioned, Rick likes to, let off some rapid fire questions, sort of throw a curveball, as I like to say.
Yes, sir.
So Ahmad's got a couple questions for you.
I mean, the first question I know
Okay.
before the game, who is the guy on the aux cord? Who you giving the aux cord to, and who don't you want to have the aux cord
Well, a guy in our locker room.
in your locker room pregame?
I'd probably say we can get a aux cord to probably one of the receivers. We can't give the aux cord to one of the linemen though. We can't. Yeah, they'd
The
probably just
first
play
time we
anything.
got
But the
that.
receivers, they know. The runner receivers, they know what's going on. They know we like to vibe to and get us locked in for the game, get us hyped.
Hmm. So my next question is: you guys have a lot of combos, uniform combos. My favorite, personally, I got to go when I played was the it's kind of like the LSU look, yellow
Hmm.
helmet, purple face mask, purple top, gold pants. What is your favorite combo that you get to wear at Camden High School?
That's a good question. We had a lot of good combos. Like when we played against RV, the yellow, yellow, white, that was a good one. The game versus Manasquan with the purple, yellow, purple, that actually turned out to be better than what I expected. And even the purple, purple, black, purple, purple, black was probably was my favorite. That's what we just wore versus Wall. Um, it looked like everything looked clean. Like a lot of guys came out, they had their little swag on. Everybody looked clean.
Hmm. All right, and then what's your pregame meal? What do you do? Not your meal, but your day. What do you do pregame wise to get ready for a game day?
So obviously we got school and all that from school locked in. I try not to be too worried about the game. Just let the game come to me. So I go through my day during school. But once it's time to get ready for the game, I go through a routine. With Greg, we go through a quarterback routine. We go out to the field early, like before anything, before we get our uniforms and all that. We go to the field. We go through a whole stretching routine, like a whole quarterback warm up, and just getting our arms loose and all that to be able to make every throw that we had to make for the game.
Okay. And my last question is: you got to rate Coach Henson's dancing, 1 to 10. What we got? You know how Coach Henson get. I played for him. You
Uh,
know what I mean? My son played for him, and now you. Come on, we need a rating, man. 1 through 10. What you
Cause
got?
since dancing, probably like a 4 or 5. He don't got
That's
that many
extra laps that
moves,
they're practicing now. That's extra gassers right there. That's more
but
Okay.
conditioning for
he
everybody.
he still was a little bit moves though.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, and maybe you guys, maybe when you bring it, if you bring home the ultimate prize, maybe that will go from a 4 or 5 to a 6 or 7. There might be a
Yeah.
little more effort into it. Maybe we'll see. So,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hopefully.
well, Ahmad, we thank you for joining us tonight. As I like to always tell our guests, congratulations on everything you've accomplished up until this point, and
Hmm.
good luck for everything you guys got going the rest of the way. I know there's still some goals you guys are looking to accomplish, so we wish you luck the rest of the way. And again, we thank you for joining us on
Appreciate
this
it.
Tuesday night and taking time every night to join us.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right.
Absolutely. Yeah, so great guest there. I mean, obviously, Ahmad Jones having to, sit a few games, transferring from Pleasantville to Camden, and Coach Henson really wanting to embrace the leadership role. And obviously, he's done a great job with that. He's been very efficient. I think that's what's really stood out to me. I mean, look at some of these stat lines the past couple games. He's throwing for 4 or 5 touchdowns a game. They're not turning the football over. He's able to, as we mentioned, throw it to several different receivers. And I think that's really what's allowing their offense to be so unstoppable right now. So really has embraced that leadership role that Coach Henson has, sort of put him in. And I think it's, obviously it's helped Cam to a sectional title and, They got big goals ahead as they they visit Haddonfield in the state semifinals this week and looking to win a state championship this year. So again, we thank Ahmad for having us and all his friends and family and teammates tuning in. Moving forward, we have our 5 stars in a week segment coming up. Believe we have a little highlight introduction.
No. We're going to skip that part. We're going to skip that.
Yeah, we were getting a little ahead of ourselves here now. But Chris, just take us through some of our top performers of the week.
Yeah, so I want to preface this again. Like I said last week, this isn't in order of who had the best performances or ranking or anything like that. It's just 5 guys that really stood out. 5 guys, maybe burger and fries, two for them as well. So Ibn Muhammad from Camden, 4 catches for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Half of his catches went for touchdowns right there. So, I mean, you catch 4 passes, 2 of them go for touchdowns. Get 150 yards with it, too. I mean, there's a reason why Fran Brown's got him get him going to Syracuse. Frenchman Bethea from Cedar Creek, the 2 passing touchdowns and the rushing touchdown as well. That passing touchdown, the second one, biggest one of the day so far for Cedar Creek and the Pirates down there in Egg Harbor City with the game winner. Amari Saab for Glassboro. Obviously, Glassboro, one of those schools where you look up and down the board, there's a guy making plays, a guy laid up the stat sheet, and this week it just happened to be Amari Saab. 13 carries, 273 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Not sure the yards per carry there, but I know it's a lot for Glassboro. Probably one of their toughest tests they've had so far this week. They had a 47-14 victory over Shalleck in the South Jersey Group 1 sectional final. In the other Group 1 sectional final, Dante Davis from Burlington City. 22 carries for 224 yards and a touchdown. A little over 11 yards per carry there. Dante Davis, I talked to one of the Burlington City faithful that comes into my gym at my work sometimes. He was saying that Dante Davis, one of those guys where it doesn't matter, how big the gap is that the low offensive line opens up. He's going to hit it, and he'll most likely find the end zone at the end of it. And Brody Leonard for Haddonfield, 32 carries, 201 yards, and 4 touchdowns as Haddonfield gets back on top in South Jersey Group 2. Like I mentioned before, he's just tearing through the Group 2 bracket so far, and they got a big matchup this weekend against Camden, which we will most likely get into momentarily with our guest, Brody Leonard.
Yeah, so before we do that, though, I just want to, talk about, some of the performances here. I mean, it's sort of like deja vu, seeing Ibn Muhammad, 4 receptions, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. This is a player who I remember when he was a freshman contributing at Woodbury when they went and won a Group 1 state championship. The first ever team in New Jersey public school to win a state championship. Yep. That was the first ever state final hosted there. So it's crazy seeing that. It's like one of those players. There's a lot of players I've seen over the years that I've seen from freshman year to senior year. And you see him play so much. It's like, wow, it's amazing to think that it's been, this long. We've seen him play this many games. And then Frenchman Bethea, as I said, I've seen him. He was amazing in that game. I mean, we mentioned the passing touchdowns, the rushing touchdowns. And I mentioned in my breakdown of the game, just the ability to make plays with his legs, with the RPO and the design QB runs. And he plays defense as well. I mean, he was tremendous. There was a lot of huge runs. The one touchdown he ran for to give them lead in the second quarter was a 50-yard run. I mentioned a long run that set up another touchdown. He was great in every facet of the game. I think he was a huge reason why they were able to bring home their first sectional title since 2021. Saab and Davis, as you mentioned, I mean, these are guys we've been talking about all year. They've just been racking up the yards, the all-purpose yards in every way imaginable. And then Brody Leonard, 32 carries, 201 yards, 4 touchdowns. You mentioned how he's been a true workhorse for them. These playoffs, I think it's a good time to bring him in.
Well, you spoke about a couple guys before we get to him. Just seeing Ibn, he was one of the guys I was thinking to have on, right? I was going to have the 2 guys on, but when I'm checking my phone and I'm checking the scores and I'm going back and forth at the Camden game, everybody coming up to me, what's that? What's the Haddonfield score? What's the score? What's going on at Haddonfield? Everybody wants to know what's going on. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, Leonard just scored again. You know what I mean? I'm looking at it, I'm kind of keeping everybody abreast of what's going on. And it's one of those things where I have to tell the fans, this today was not planned by any stretch of the imagination, right? After the game, I go up and I say, yo, we want to have you on. You know what I mean? I'll reach out to you. I'll send you everything. I get in the car, warm my hands up, pull my phone out again, and I get the text of Chris saying, we're going to have Brody on, right?
Pretty much the same process I had there too.
The exact same thing, and it just it's pretty good because this is a big game, right? The Camden and Haddonfield, the rivalry, it goes on, man. It's a really good one. These two guys are, really good guys. So I don't want people to think we're trying to force this. This was just something that just happened, and I had to just get that out real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And two guys worthy of being on the show.
Yeah,
They
for
deserve
sure.
all the recognition in the world. So I think it's a good time to bring them on. We have Brody Leonard on the show, star running back from Haddonfield. Brody, how you doing tonight? We thank you for joining us on a Tuesday night. I know it's a school night. I know it's state semifinal weekend. You guys are parents, so we thank you for having us, or excuse me, for joining us tonight on such. Well, I guess Chris gave you a few days' notice. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
We're doing all right. Thanks for joining us again. Chris, I'll kind of let you take the lead here because I know Brody was someone that stood out to you. Obviously, you've seen this 201-yard performance against a very good Delran team.
Yeah, Brody. I saw you guys against Delran. I talked to you to the game. You mentioned the offensive line has been probably the biggest asset for you guys so far this year, and especially just for your individual success as well. What's the chemistry like with the guys up front? You mentioned that they opened up the holes for you, and they said that you think you're a good player, but they make you a great player. How have you got that chemistry and that bond with them up front?
I eat dinner with them, which is what I'm doing right now.
Yo, what's up, fellas?
Yo.
What's going on? That's dope.
Yes, sir.
I love it. He pulling a Saquon. Look, y'all come over for steak and dinner. I love it. I love it.
Well, what's on the menu?
Yeah, mom hooked them up with the sausage and bow ties.
Oh, there you go. That's a good choice right there. That's a good choice.
We should have had this show from the crib.
Yeah, I mean, so is that how often do you guys do that? Is that an every week thing? Is that like big occasion?
Yeah, no, we do this thing Weidman on Wednesdays where the whole team goes out to dinner, and there's this one king to have Matt Rutter who gets to pick the restaurant every night, and after practice we go there, we eat together as a team, and then we split. So that's one thing we do, and yeah.
So do you guys have a specific meal that's a favorite, or is it individually a favorite thing of a different one?
It's like some one week will be Five Guys, Whole Hog, McDonald's. We really just bounce around from place to place every week. We try to mix it up as much as we can.
I'll tell you what, a Whole Hog, that's good stuff. That's good stuff there. Whole
Oh,
Hog
yeah.
barbecue.
Yes, sir.
How did this come about? Getting the O-line to come over to have dinner, or whether you guys go out and have dinner. How'd that come about? How'd that start?
Well, I mean, they've done an excellent job blocking for me, for my quarterback. As I said before, like they're the ones who I give all my credit to. So I needed to make sure that they got fed, and I promised them a dinner, and tonight was a night that we planned, and yeah.
Yeah, so you guys, have been returning to championship form. I know Chris mentioned earlier in the show that, every group that's came through Haddonfield has won some sort of championship, whether it be a sectional championship, regional championship. And you guys, the window is starting to close, but you guys brought a lot of guys back this year. You finally get yours, sectional championship win over Delran. How special was that? What went into it? What went into the process? How were you guys able to get back into that championship form? And Coach Delano and his staff. I mean, Coach Delano is someone I've credited for a long time. I think he's one of the best coaches in South Jersey. What's that experience been like playing for him? And as I said, what has allowed you guys to get back into championship form?
I mean, us seniors coming into the season, we knew that this was our only shot. Like, we've been playing together since we were 8, 9 years old, and we've never won a championship, not even in the youth level. And that was a goal that we set at the beginning of the season. And it was at our banquet, which I think was in March. We all met together that night, and we were like, dude, like, this is our last chance. Like, we need to get this done. We need to like win, because we know that what we have in our locker room, we can win. And yeah, and then Coach Delano, like he's somebody who uh, is all about detail, discipline, and just really does a really good job at keeping everything organized throughout practice. Uh, and yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, I got to shout out my guy. I shouted him out last week, Coach Bachman. That was my gym teacher, my coach. What's he?
Yes, sir.
What's he like? I know he still bring that same fire in the locker room at practice. He was a very vibrant guy. I know
Yes,
he's
sir.
aged a little bit. I'm not calling you old Coach Bachman, but I know he used to always come with that fire every day. Is he still like that for you guys?
Yeah, Coach Bach is the best. He's always bringing the energy, bring the juice all the time. Always so positive. Uh, no filter, but we love that. And yeah, he is the man. He's always getting all the anchors and willies right.
Yeah, he hasn't changed one bit. That's Coach Bach. He's not a clone or nothing. That's the Coach Bach I know. Yeah, I'll run into him at games, and he'll be filming, scouting a team, and you guys can play on a Friday, and he'll be out there on Saturday, and you guys might not be ready to play that next day, but I know he's ready to play that next day. That's my guy. So I had to ask you about him. Hope he's watching.
Yeah, he's
hope
very
doing well.
dedicated, along with all the.
Yeah, so Coach Bach, shout out Coach Bach, my guy. But yeah, Chris, Rick, anything?
No, I was just going to ask, what's one of the things that kind of stick with you, and the team that your coach kind of preaches to y'all?
I think it is the team aspect. Like we need to make sure we're playing as hard as possible for one another, which is we've been doing, trying to trying to do throughout the season. And we're also trying to set an example for the younger guys who are going to have to step up next year when we're gone. And then hopefully they take after that and they do the same thing for the guys who then come next year and the year after that, and just build that chemistry, camaraderie, and culture on the football team that Coach Delano has instilled in the program. And we just really want to make sure that continues on even when we're gone.
So my follow up question off of that is one of the questions I normally ask. Like, who was somebody that did that for you? Who was somebody that set the example that you looked up to? That was a player on the team coming in as a freshman, or it could have been a sophomore year, where you're like, you know what, he's setting a good example. If I can do what he did for me, I'll be in a good place.
Mine wasn't when I was in high school. Mine was when I was waterboarding for for the 2018 team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I watched my two older brothers play.
Mm-hmm.
They were kind of the ones who set an example for me. Um, Watching them play was really special, especially when I was on the sideline. And the way they played, I just it was really special for me, my family, and all I wanted to do was just kind of uh, get that same experience and win, which they did, and get something of my own. Yeah.
Okay, it's pretty good, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Chris mentioned your brothers playing on that team earlier in the show, and talking to people around. That was like right when I sort of came into South
Started
Jersey
coming.
football. I mean, I've been following it from a fan perspective for many years, but that was like my first year jumping in as a reporter, and I know a lot of people say that's one of the best, if not the best, Haddonfield team to ever come out of there. So definitely a good set of role models to look up to. But obviously, you guys captured a sectional championship last week, and there's still more work to be done. You guys, Camden this week. You guys are hosting Camden, I should say, Central Jersey Group 2 champion. Huge game. A lot of people in South Jersey are looking forward to. How excited are you guys for this opportunity? Obviously a chance to go to a state championship is on the line. And just what are you guys doing to prepare for this opportunity?
The same thing we do every single week. Work really, really hard every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We again playing against Camden, especially at home. It's super special for us because like when that stadium is packed, it's a whole other environment that we we um we really enjoy it, and like yeah.
I can only imagine how exciting it is. I mean, it's a huge game, as we mentioned. Camden and Haddonfield. There's a lot of history between these two teams in football, basketball, You know, a lot of great games have been played over the years, a lot of instant classics. So I know we're all looking forward to watching it. And I'm sure
Yeah.
you guys, as I said, are really excited for this opportunity. So
I mean, I'll definitely be at that game covering it. I'll be
Yeah.
doing some video, little stuff like that. But I just want to see a good game. At the end of the
Absolutely.
day, I think these are two really good teams. I think the matchup is really, a good matchup, and it's going to be the excitement. So if you have not bought your tickets, go ahead and buy your tickets. This we don't normally do game of the weeks during playoffs. We don't do rankings or any of that during playoffs. But if I could say, this is probably going to be the game of the week, just based off of the history and everything like that. But a really good game. But I just want to ask you, we just had somebody just say the lineman can't get the aux cord. Right, and that was the first person that said the lineman couldn't get the aux cord. Everybody else that came on, the lineman was getting the aux cord. So for you guys getting prepared for the game in the locker room, whether it's on the way back to the game from a Starbucks, getting ready for the game or whatever, who has the aux cord? Who you giving it to in the locker room?
Locker room, I'm giving it to Matt Rudder because he knows his music. We like that we like that old shit.
I love it. I love it. What
do we define an old? What do we define old? I know there's different variations of old.
We like
hold on.
we like we love our Led Zeppelin. We just
Okay.
love we like the Rolling Stones. We love Creedence Clear. I love Creedence Clearwater Revival. Yeah, and then sometimes before games we do like Vaughn.
I like those selections right there. It's my kind of pregame list.
Yeah.
I got a wide variety of music though, so it depends on the day, but I like that one.
Yeah.
What else you got for me?
Definitely like it. So, you guys played a really good schedule this year. Was there any particular player that you may have seen or played against that you kind of said that they got a pretty good game?
Yeah, when we played Seneca, Anthony Tirico was one of the best players I think I've ever played against. He's a player who's really fast, can run the ball really well, great leader. It seems like his team seems to rally behind him, and yeah, I would definitely say him. And obviously, the Stab brothers at Glassboro were really good, outstanding players. Yeah.
Yeah, man. A lot of coaches are tuning in. It's 171 people viewing this right now between our platforms. So if there are any college coaches that may be watching or anything, what is one thing that they need to know about you if they're recruiting you?
I'll do whatever it takes to win, like at all times.
Mm-hmm.
I can attest to
Yeah.
that. I mean, 32 carries, 201 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think he'll do anything for his team to win.
I have a last question. There's somebody in my mind who I'm thinking your game is kind of similar to. Who do you take bits and pieces from and implement it into your game, or is there a certain person that you watched that you model your game after?
Yeah. There's a couple. There's the running back from the running back standpoint. It's I do watch a lot of Christian McCaffrey. The way he's able to receive the ball, he runs really well. He's the ultimate technician. And then the other running back I watch is Cam Scadaboo because the way he runs it, he's a very hard nosed, like hard running football player who will fight for every single yard, and that's kind of what I'm really about. And then another one of players I don't model it, but my teammates call me Thad Castle from Blue Mountain State. I don't know if you've ever watched it. Yeah, he's my boy Rudder actually just bought me a jersey, and I was wearing it to practice the other day.
Yeah, wow. Nah, that is funny. Oh wow. Yo, I gotta say, man, I love high school guys. I love college guys. I just went and watched my son play over the weekend, and it's really good when you see the guys having fun. And it seems like you guys are really having fun as a team, and you've come together. Is there one particular moment that you remember out of your high, or you're going to take with you up to this point out of your high school career?
The Willingboro game, when we won in double overtime, because I mean, like as you said, we're having so much fun as a team together, and it's the most fun I've ever had in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't want that to end then, and I knew that if I were to get the ball back, that we were going to win this game. And when we did, that was just the greatest moment I've had playing football. One that I will remember forever.
Yeah, man. I'm done, but I just want to tell you and any other player that's out there watching, still playing, enjoy the moment, enjoy every second of it, and go out and give your all because you never know when it'll be your last snap, your last game playing. Some of these guys that you are with, you may not play with them again after this season. So you guys are coming down to the end. Just stick together and continue to have fun with it, but enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment. Parents too. Parents especially enjoy the moment. You get to the end of the road, similar to where I am right now. It's kind of tough when you see your son playing from the age of 4 all the way up to 22, 23, and then it starts to become the end of the road. So enjoy every moment of it, players and parents. So
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And got another comment here, Coach Omar Stinney, my guy Omar Stinney. Thanks for tuning in, Coach Omar. Coach B definitely brought the fire talking about Bachman. See, everyone knows our good old Coach Bachman. That's my guy. But no, Brody, we thank you so much for joining us tonight, taking time out of your night, and your lineman joining us as well. As I tell all our guests, congratulations on everything you guys have accomplished up until this point, and we wish you guys the best of luck the rest of the way. I know there's still some more goals to accomplish. I know you guys are working hard to achieve those goals. So we thank you for joining us and wish you the best of luck down the stretch.
Yes, sir. Have a great night.
yes, sir.
Yeah, another great guest there. I mean, them guys they embody what high school football is all about. I mean, just high school in general, having meals with your linemen, enjoying it, listening to music, you know, taking advice from the coaches and whatnot, and just bonding with the coaching staff, your classmates, your teammates. And they as we said, get to host this game this week against Camden. I could tell they're very excited for it, being that it's going to be played on their home field. And as Brody mentioned, just a different type of atmosphere when you have two teams like this with a lot of historical significance playing on that stage. Trip to the state championship on the line.
That thing it's gonna be crazy Friday night.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be. You get there early. If you don't have your tickets, you need to get them now. I mean,
there's like no parking there either, so you need to get there
taking
early.
a walk down the street. Taking a walk down 41 or finding a side street to park on. I've had to do it for Haddonfield baseball games. They played Collingswood in that sectional championship last year, South Jersey Group 2 final. I found a side street. I wasn't parked illegally. I was parked legally. Was in front of someone's house, I think, but had to take a walk down there, and this is no different.
I'll definitely be there early.
Absolutely.
And I'm covering the game, so I'm still getting there early. I'll be there early. Get your tickets. I'm telling you, they're advertising them now. They're putting them out there. Get your tickets. They're going to be sold out.
Absolutely.
It's one side of the stadium they have. The other side is no stands. It's a good amount, but you got the bands, you got all of that. So get there early. Get your tickets, man.
Absolutely. That's a great venue to also watch a high school football game. You walk in, you have the Bulldog, I believe it is, the statue. And then when you walk in there, it sort of feels like you're walking into like an old school, like Coliseum arena, just with how it goes underneath the bleachers and whatnot. And, huge old school sort of looking, home section. So it's definitely a good place to be watching a state semifinal. Two talented teams in Camden, Haddonfield, which we'll get into that in a little bit. But moving forward, our next segment we want to go into is our biggest takeaways from this past weekend. I want to start off, Chris and Rick. What do you think was the most impressive team performance of this past week in the sectional finals?
It's kind of hard to tell because we had
a lot of good games.
Yeah, we had that Cedar Creek Mainland game. We had Shore and Burlington City. That was a close game as well, too. That was pretty close. And overall, if you want to go, I guess, overall team performance, I got to say probably Winslow. I mean, 53-14, almost complete domination there on that side from Winslow. They were firing on all cylinders. It's kind of hard not to say Winslow in that point.
Yeah, that's a good answer, Rick. Anyone that stood out to you, any one team in particular from this past weekend? As Chris said, it's a hard question. I mean, there was a lot of dominating performances, a lot of statements made. Which one stood out to you the most?
I probably would say the game that you were at, the Cedar Creek game. That was Saturday. I was out at Westchester, still trying to keep up with the scores. And the reason why I say that, it wasn't like a blowout win or anything like that, but Mainland was on a roll.
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying that they were probably going to sneak in and win that one.
Mm-hmm.
So for Cedar Creek to stand tall at home, defeat a team that's red hot at the moment, they knocked off the number 1 seed, right, coming in. So for that game, the way that it ended, I think that was, for me, that was probably the most impressive win that I saw, because just everything that went along with it.
Yeah, and that's a good answer. And I could speak on that game, being that I was there, and I know that was going into the playoffs. I said, I think Mainland Regional's the team to beat in this bracket. I know Chris had said Cedar Creek was his pick to be the team to beat in that bracket. And as you mentioned, Mainland goes on the road. They defeat the top seed, Burlington Township.
Yeah,
a thriller there. They block a field goal to advance.
Mm-hmm.
This team's played in 4 straight sectional finals. They've won the past 3 that they played in, if I'm not mistaken. Won a state championship in that run. So as you said, that pedigree was there. And as I mentioned, Cedar Creek, they jumped out to the first lead, got tied up. Cedar Creek would go and take that lead, but Mainland didn't go away. Cedar Creek was sort of in control, but Mainland didn't go away. And for Cedar Creek to always have a response to their response was huge. And as you mentioned, the way that they won that game on that play there, look, they're just trying to get in field goal range. The big play, they go down and win it on their home turf. As I said, it's everything that high school football playoffs are about. So definitely a good choice there, and a good choice by you, Chris, as you mentioned. Winslow putting up 53 points. Them in Millville, 2 teams that have met a lot over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
That was definitely a statement there as well.
And, over the last couple of years, the hot team public school was Millville.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And especially in that group, right? So for Winslow to do what they did to Millville is kind of like it switched.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now that team is Winslow.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is impressive on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I watched out. I see Karan Ali. I'm looking, see him running. He probably still running right now. I mean, he was flying up the sideline. So, the plays that they're able to make, even though they start out slow, they're a team at times. I'm not saying all the time. At times they may start out slow. They're a team that you have to watch, because in a minute, snap of the finger, they can put up 21 unanswered points and just switch everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, the thing with Winslow is, I mean, the throne is theirs in South Jersey right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're good in every facet. It's not like they're just a team with a bunch of straight skill guys who are putting up 50 points a game. No, they're going to put up a lot of points, and they got guys who could play in the trenches.
Yeah.
They're going to get it done at every level. They're going to be really good defensively. They're going to be good on special teams. They're not going to make many mistakes, and they're going to put up a lot of points. I mean, Jalen Parker's numbers this year are outstanding.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
We mentioned Boomer Helen breaking the single season touchdowns record, and there's still games to be played.
Mm-hmm.
And Parker, I mean, he's still got another season.
Yep.
So by the time it's all said and done, he's going to have set a standard so high, not even just at Winslow, but in South Jersey and the entire state of New Jersey in terms of records and numbers. So, I mean, that was an impressive win for sure, being able to defeat a team like Millville. Millville came into that game sort of rolling on all cylinders. They started off 1-4, rattled off 5 straight, and they had some quality wins down the stretch, beating St. Augustine in overtime. Washington Township, the team we're going to talk about, is also undefeated and a team to beat in their respective group. Millville was one of the teams that actually played them very close. So, I mean, that was a great win for Winslow to be able to sort of fend them off and pull away there as they did down the stretch and really send a statement and show that, the throne is ours in South Jersey
Just
right now.
Real quick, Kev, any fans that are in here, go ahead and if you want to ask any questions, we're going to have a part of the show later, a little bit later on, as we get through some of the upcoming games, where we're going to answer some of the questions that you have, that you may have. So go ahead, comment. We'll get to some of those questions. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Rick said, drop the comments and drop the questions in the comments. We'll make sure to get to them. We got someone else in the comments here, Coach Bird. It's going to be a good one talking about Camden Haddonfield. Absolutely, we're going to get into it. Coach Bird, we thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Yeah, so before we move on, I want to just give my real quick. I think the biggest or most impressive performance to me this weekend was actually the other game I was at, Kingsway defeating Atlantic City 38-21, because that was another one of those games we talked about on the show last week. I talked about it with reporters when I was at the game prior to kickoff. This is one of them games that can go either way. We talked about how Kingsway can beat you in a variety of ways, and that stood out in that game. You know, they got a great dual threat quarterback in David Oravets. We mentioned the workhorse that Colton Nick is, but it wasn't even really, I want to say it wasn't the Colton Nick show because he contributed as well, but it wasn't where the offense was focused solely on him. They were running the ball on early downs, getting good chunks, utilizing a lot of slants, quick throws to just sort of get their guys open and get in space and just move down the field. And we talked about how Atlantic City was a high-flying offense coming into that game. They just put up 47 points in a playoff opener against Cherokee and then 42 against Toms River North, beating Toms River North, three-time Group 5 state champion, 42-0. And for Kingsway to come in and sort of shut them down, that game was 38-13 at one point for Atlantic City, scored a late touchdown to sort of narrow the deficit before time expired. I thought that was a huge performance by Kingsway. That was, I know, my pick, or excuse me, the team I thought to beat in that bracket going in, even though they were the 3 seed. And it was going to come down to them having to go win a game on the road, most likely. And they end up having to win 2, actually, going down to Southern Regional and winning out there as well. So I thought that was, impressive for them to travel on the road like that and just dominate in every facet of the game. And they were just disciplined from start to beginning. And now they get another chance to play Washington Township, a team they lost to narrowly earlier. Another one of those candidates.
Yeah.
One of them games where they had an opportunity to win it. So I thought that was an impressive win by them to sort of give them some momentum going into that rematch with Washington Township. So that does it for our biggest takeaways of the week. And I think it's time to move into our state semifinal preview right now. The part I'm sure everyone's waiting for, a lot of great games this week. And we'll start off with Group 1. We have Burlington City with an 11-1 record, heading to Glassboro, defending Group 1 state champions, 12-0. This game we played Friday night, November 21st at 6 p.m. at Glassboro High School in Group 1. Burlington City won its first sectional title since 1979. It's seeking its first ever state final appearance. Glassboro won its third straight sectional title, looking for back-to-back state titles. This is a team that has won 25 games in a row right now. I believe the longest winning streak in the state of New Jersey. 25 wins in a row is no little task. And the keys to the game, running back matchups. You got 2 talented running backs on each side. A lot of great athletes on each side, I should say. Let me not just limit it to the running backs. And also pace control, defensive stamina. I was actually talking about this matchup as soon as it was, finalized, Friday night. We knew these 2 teams were going to be playing in the next round, and talking to some guys, it was, the key with playing Glassboro, I mean, they're the team to beat right now in this group. You sort of got to control the pace, as we mentioned. You got to keep the ball out of their hands, and you have to play your own game, but play your own game to an extent. You got to, I mean, I know it's cliche. You can't, succumb to the other opponent and play their game, but sort of you have to adjust how you play when it comes to playing a team this talented with this many athletes. You got to be able to control that pace and control the ball. And obviously, the margin for error is so slim. You have to play a perfect game almost. And that goes for any opponent.
I mean, one of the things I'm looking at, the key to victory, right? Glassboro's coming in as the favorite. They just got to do what they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
They've been doing, right? Spreading the ball around, limiting the big play ability of Burlington City. But I think going in, their main focus will probably be stopping the run.
Yeah.
Burlington City has a really good run game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they'll be looking to do. Just do what we do, stop the big run, the big plays, and stop the run. And then on the other side, I think for Burlington City, you got to win the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely.
You have to be able to dominate or control the offensive line. And I say the word control because you don't want them to go out there kind of wild, right? They have to be able to. I say control because another reason is Glassboro does a lot of things good, right? They run the ball, they can throw the ball. So when it's time to run fit, you gotta make sure you're disciplined in that. You have to make sure you're able to get some type of pressure on a quarterback to make him a little bit uncomfortable. So some of the things that you have to do there, you have to win at that. And once you are able to do that, you'll be able to kind of control the game and the pace of the game. I think it's the line of scrimmage. The skills are the skills.
Absolutely.
Right? But we all know if you can kind of control the line of scrimmage, you can neutralize some of that. And that's how you're able to keep the ball out of their hands.
Yeah, and that ties in sort of what I was alluding to is, Glassboro, you mentioned they're coming in. Okay, they're the favorite.
Yeah.
They just need to go out there and do what they need to do, what they've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
For Burlington City's coming in. They know that they're the underdog.
Right.
And that's the thing. Even though you're the underdog, that's a great position to be in a lot of times. It allows you to come in with a little bit of extra motivation, a little bit more fire. But it's one of those things where you can't, as you mentioned, you can't not be composed.
Right.
You got to come in level-headed. It's good to understand you're the underdog and play with that, extra motivation, but you can't make any mistakes in this game. So you got to come in, be fully composed, play your game, and that's really the key to victory. I think they have to just stay level-headed. That makes sense.
Let me say this. Any kid from Burlington Township, I'm in Burlington City. Sorry about that. You can make a mistake, but you want to limit your mistakes.
Yes.
I don't want to say don't make no mistakes because that's when you start getting tight and you don't play up to your game.
Absolutely.
You go and you can do what you do, but like you said, you don't want to have the crucial mistakes. That's really the difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you're driving, you may be in a red zone, a fumble or interception, or it's 4th and 1 and you jump off sides. Now you know what I mean? You're putting yourself in different positions. But like you said, you definitely want to limit the mistakes. We know they in high school, they're going to make some mistakes, but it's just those crucial key moments that you want to limit.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to this one. This is the one I'll be at this weekend. Burlington City at Glassboro, Friday night, November 21st, 6 p.m. Group 1 state semifinal. Winner advances to play the winner of Cedar Grove and Butler in the Group 1 state championship. And I'm really looking forward to it. We mentioned Glassboro is the team to be here. Burlington City is the underdog. But I think it has the makings to be a very good game.
Yeah,
I think it has the makings to be a very good game. Both teams battle-tested. Glassboro with wins over Haddonfield, and then, obviously Salem gave them a little bit of a fight. Even Shalleck was, keeping it close with them early on. And Glassboro has found a way to win games late. They've been finding ways to pull away, even when it's, a little too close for comfort, early on. And that goes to what we were talking about, where teams will try to keep the ball away from them and try to control the time of possession and control the line of scrimmage. But I think Burlington City is another team that's battle-tested. I mean, they had Burlington Township on the ropes, a team that was the top seed in South Jersey Group 3. So I think they're extremely excited for this opportunity. There's a lot of momentum coming off your first sectional title since 1979. So I know they're looking forward to this opportunity to hit 295 South and go down there and challenge the defending Group 1 state champion. Because going into the year, not just for Burlington City, but anyone in Group 1 knew, if we want to get to the final stage, Glassboro is the team we have to beat.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to this one. I think this one's going to be a really good one. Get your tickets now. Make sure to check this out. Burlington City at Glassboro, Friday night at 6 p.m. Moving on, we have next game we talked about. We had a guest from each team, which was an interesting dynamic. I wanted to mention that when our guests were on earlier. We got to talk to guests from opposing teams that both won sectional championships over the weekend, and now they're preparing for each other. And, a lot of excitement on both sides. And, obviously it's here. It's that week. Yeah. Both sides are preparing. And I know you guys mentioned, this could be the game of the week in South Jersey, game of the week in the state of New Jersey. We got Camden, 9-2, heading to Haddonfield, 9-2. Friday night, 7 p.m. at Haddonfield Memorial High School. Camden, 3 sectional titles in 4 years, still chasing that first ever state final appearance. Obviously, state finals, this is only the 4th year of them for public schools, but Camden's a team that's been in the mix every single year. And we mentioned how they were finally able to get over the hump, defeating Wall Township last week with being that Point Pleasant Borough and Rumson Fairhaven have given them some troubles over the years. Finally got over that hump. So now the next step is to get past the state semifinal round, which they reached, several times past couple of years, even when they were in Group 3, having to play Delsey that year when they had the state semifinals at the Bowl at Cherokee. So now an opportunity to go to the state title. And same for Haddonfield. Haddonfield won their first sectional title since 2021, so they haven't had an opportunity to try and advance to a state final. And key to the game here is sort of similar to Burlington City and Glassboro in terms of trying to stop an explosive offense in Camden, and Haddonfield just trying to maintain that ground control, that ball control, and sort of not necessarily playing keep away, but they're going to try to control the line of scrimmage, control the time of possession, and keep the ball out of Camden's hands.
Well, that's what it's been, right? If and I'm speaking on both sides, right? If you're Haddonfield, I'll take Haddonfield. You're definitely trying to limit possessions. You're trying to play, like you said, mistake-free football, and you're trying to just be disciplined. A lot of times going into these games, we've seen over the years, like sometimes when they play that pace, Camden tends to try to still have the big play. I don't know why that camera went out. I'll get to it in a second. They try to force the big play at times. So you're going to still try to play that game, limit the big plays and all of that stuff. Ground and pound, eat the clock up. That's the game you're going to play. And if you're Camden, you're going to come in and say, listen, we're going to do what we do, and we're going to put pedal to the metal. We're going to force them to have to do what they don't want to do. And coming into this, you definitely want to try. If you're Camden, I'm trying to jump out to an early lead. I want to force Haddonfield to do things that they aren't comfortable doing. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to make them pass the ball. That's in our favor. Mm-hmm. So those are some of the things I'm thinking about when I'm looking at this game.
Yeah, and I actually was talking to it was Mark Tribble I was talking to the other day, and it applies to several games. It could apply to this game. It could apply to the Glassboro Burlington City game. It could apply to the Winslow Brick Memorial game that we'll talk about. There's so many games where it can apply, where when you're playing a high flying offense, a lot of times, that team will go down and have a quick score, and then you sort of start to feel rushed. You start to lose a little bit of composure, and you feel the need to, okay, now we need to go down and score. We need to immediately get it back, to where you got to stay, even keel, stay composed, and take your time to take care of the football and go try to score that way. Not rush yourself to where now you're forcing mistakes and whatnot and creating errors that are putting yourself into an even deeper hole. So and like I said, that's a universal concept that could apply to a lot of games this week, really, because there's a lot of high-flying, explosive offenses still playing at this time of year. So definitely a key there, but another great one. I mean, you ask a lot of people, this is probably the game of the week in the state in South Jersey. Definitely a good one. We mentioned it when we had our guests on. A lot of historical significance between these two programs, both in football and basketball. So definitely looking forward to this one. Camden at Haddonfield, Group 2 state semifinals, Friday night, November 21st at 7 p.m. at Haddonfield Memorial High School. And as we mentioned, buy your tickets, get there early. Not a lot of parking there, Route 41. Get there early. You might have to find a side street. It's happened to me with baseball. You got to get there early. So make sure to check that one out. That's a good one. Camden at Haddonfield. Moving on in the Group 3 state semifinals, we have Cedar Creek with a 10-2 record visiting Homedale with a 9-2 record. Homedale defeating Seneca last week 41-20. Jack Cannon, their all-world quarterback, who just gets it done at quarterback, through the air and on the ground and on defense. He had a great game last week. And then Cedar Creek, obviously, as we mentioned several times tonight, statement win 34-28, absolute thriller, game of the year candidate in South Jersey. 34-28 win over Mainland, I should say. South Jersey Group 3 final, their fourth sectional title in school history. So huge one this week. They'll have to take the trip up to Homedale and Monmouth County there. Homedale, won their first ever sectional championship in school history this past week. Obviously, first ever sectional championship means they're seeking their first ever state final appearance. Cedar Creek, as we mentioned, first sectional final since 2021, aiming for their first state final as well. And the keys sort of similar to what we've been talking about, the games we've been recapping and the games coming up. The QB play, QB matchup here. You got two dynamic quarterbacks on both sides who can throw the ball, who can run the ball, controlling the line of scrimmage, and that turnover margin. As I mentioned, I was at Cedar Creek last week for the game against Maryland, and they had less forced mistakes, less turnovers, a couple penalties, but they weren't costly penalties. Big runs negated early on. It was scoreless, but they limit their mistakes. They force turnovers, and they won a sectional championship out of it. So, I mean, that's huge for this one. I mean, what are your guys' takeaways with this one?
Now, I was watching clips of the quarterback from Homedale.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he's legit, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks really good. So Cedar Creek is going to they're going to have their hands full. But I definitely think it's a game that they can pull out. They definitely have guys that make explosive plays. So it's one that you're on the road. It's going to be tough. You're the underdog. Everything's against you. But I definitely think Cedar Creek can pull it out. Definitely.
Yeah, and I know, James Melody has been here before. This team won a regional championship a couple years ago when they finished with a 13-0 record.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to come in prepared and fired up. I mean, when Coach Melody took the field before his players on Saturday, I mean, he was locked in. I know locked in is a cliche term, but he hit that field. We were all standing there. We're like, oh, he's locked in. He looked like he was ready to go play a football game. And then they radiate off that energy. The players came in and they had that same kind of energy, that same fire, and they were rolling on all cylinders from the beginning. As I said, a couple penalties, a couple big runs negated, but they worked right past that. What good football teams do. Okay, we got a penalty, we got to move back a little bit. They made up for it.
Mm-hmm.
Make a play to get it back. So I know they're definitely going to be fired up. The mentality is going to be right to go up there, hit the road against Homedale, a team it's a winnable game. And the way that Homedale's been scoring points and the way that Cedar Creek scored some points this year, I mean, this would be a game. There was an over-under. It could be like 83.5. I mean, this could be, as they say, an old Big 12 shootout right here.
Yeah.
Two teams that could score a lot of points. So it could come down to, who gets the last stop. Who gets the last stop or who has the ball last. So we'll see. This should be an exciting one up at Homedale. If you want to take the trip or if you're in the Monmouth County area and you need a good game to watch, this one is bound to be a good one. Cedar Creek, South Jersey Group 3 champion at Homedale, Central Jersey Group 3 champion, Friday night, November 21st at 7 p.m. at Homedale High School. Moving forward, we have in Group 4, let me backtrack a little bit. I forgot to mention Group 1. I mentioned that the winner of Glassboro Burlington City will play the winner of Cedar Grove and Butler. I did not mention who the winners would face in the South Jersey groups if they were to win in Group 2 and Group 3. Group 2, the winner of Camden and Haddonfield will face the winner of Westwood and Shabazz.
Yeah.
And in Group 3, the winner of Cedar Creek and Homedale will face the winner of West Morris and Old Tappan. So definitely keep an eye on those games if you're interested in following along and seeing who would be next on the docket for some of these teams, because we have three state semifinals where we're guaranteed a South Jersey team in a state championship in Group 1, Group 3, and Group 5.
Group 2.
Group 1, Group 2, Group 5. Mm-hmm. And my next point was going to be Group 3 and Group 4 have the opportunity to have a South Jersey representative. So we'll see what happens.
Come on, go ahead, say it, Chris. Let it out.
I think there's 4 groups we got guaranteed.
He said 4 groups. Yeah. Listen,
that's all. I'll stop there.
Hey,
don't get players.
Yeah, don't listen to me.
Don't listen to him.
Don't listen
But
to me.
we know what we talking about.
Go
Chris.
handle business. Just go handle business.
We know what it is.
Well, that's the perfect lead into our Group 4 state semifinal preview right now. We have Brick Memorial at 10-2, visiting Winslow at 10-2. Brick Memorial, we actually had their quarterback Jason Lahar on last week, and they're a team that can score a lot of points. They put up 55 points against that Homedale team we just mentioned, and they're going to be facing a Winslow team. It's similar to the dynamic with Glassboro in Group 1. If you want to win a state championship, this is the team you have to beat. The reigning champion, 14-0 last year. They're 10-2 this year. They haven't lost to a South Jersey opponent in the past 2 seasons. Their only losses this year were against Bergen Catholic and IMG Academy, 2 nationally ranked programs. At least Bergen Catholic was nationally ranked at the time of that matchup. But Brick Memorial, looking forward to the challenges, I'd imagine. Saturday, November 22nd at 1 p.m. at Winslow Township High School, right there at Route 73, Cooper Folly Road. Brick just won its first sectional title since 2008. They were in back-to-back sectional final appearances last year, losing to Millville. And this year, they get the job done with a 28-0 win over Middletown North. They're seeking their first ever state final appearance. And then Winslow, obviously, as we mentioned, dominant program, three straight sectional finals. They've only lost a few games since Bill Belton has taken the reins there. And it's their throne in South Jersey right now. It's their throne in Group 4. If you want to be the best team, the best public team in the state, this is who you have to be. They're loaded with talent, as we mentioned, at every level, in every facet of the game. They can throw the ball. They can run the ball. They're good in the trenches, going both ways. Up front, offensively, they're able to open lanes, they're able to protect. Defensively, they get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They got great tacklers on the mid-level there. And then, obviously, tremendous athletes in the secondary. A lot of guys who play both ways, can make plays on both sides of the ball. So the key here is
COVID. They got to hope for COVID. That's the key. They got to hope for COVID. No, I'm joking. I'm messing around. Bird flu, swine flu. I'm joking, man. I'm playing around, but I think
We had Brick Memorial fans last week. We don't got them this week.
I'm sorry, Brick, but they got to hope for something. Nah, go ahead.
Yeah,
It's a joke, man. I'm playing around.
No, this is a tall task. It's a tall task. It goes without saying. I mean, we could sit here for hours and talk about how good Winslow is. They're the top-ranked public team in the state of New Jersey, defending Group 4 state champion. They rolled to a state championship last year, beating Phillipsburg 35-0. They've won 3 straight sectional finals. They are the standard in South Jersey right now. They're the standard of public high school football in New Jersey. But I'm laughing as well because, you know, it's similar to some of the matchups we talked about before. Ball control versus that speed and trying to keep the ball out of the hands of Winslow's playmakers, because Winslow can go to anybody at any time.
You're 100% correct. And what I see from teams when they play Winslow, it's like you're trying to take away something, but whatever you try to take away, it's the wrong answer. Because, you know, they have so many guys. I mean, we talk about, you know, Boomer, you know, we talk about all of the playmakers that they have. Nakeem Powell. Like, I don't want to start naming them because it's going to, like, you'll forget somebody, right? You know, but at the end of the day, they have the luxury of going into the game with a game plan of what they want to do. And once they figure out what you're trying to take away, they can pivot and go to something else. And ultimately, that has been the key to their success. And it's huge shout out to Coach Belton as far as offensively, you know, what he's able to do on the fly. I've been there when they were playing IMG, and I could just see him making adjustments on the field that are working. And it helped them stick around in that game. So it's one of those things where it's really tough for teams to game plan for. So it's like, okay, we're going to, number one, we're going to take him away. Guys, we're going to double team. We're going to bracket. We're going to do whatever. And then next thing you know, number 5's running up the sideline, or you got number 3 running down the seam of the field, or you got 21 out of the backfield, or you get what I'm saying? So it's kind of, it's really kind of tough to, if you don't have the guys to really say, you know what, we're going to match up with them, and then we're going to send the house at this quarterback, it's going to be a long night. And then, you know, when you flip over on the other side of the ball, it's kind of like they're doing what the Eagles are doing. Mm-hmm. You know, Coach Nash has those guys really rolling. They're rolling linemen in, D linemen. They're only rushing 4. It's not a whole bunch of blitzing and, you know, all of that stuff to kind of generate pressure. Mm-hmm. They're able to do it with their front 4, you know, and when you go back to the 2 linebackers right there, I mean, even those 2 guys, like, hey, we got to block, we got to watch 0. Like, they just have a lot that it's really tough offensively and defensively to game plan for. And that's That's what it boils down to. Now, Winslow, don't get ahead of yourself. Make sure that you guys go in this game prepared and focused. I know you guys have something that you want to accomplish, but it's we, I make jokes, and y'all know how I am, right? So I make a joke about it, but I'm saying that's the joke that I would be saying, like, after watching film. It's like, yo, like, how are we going to stop these guys, man? And I probably would be in the one in there like, we gotta hope they get COVID, coach. You know what I'm saying? Just joking around.
Send the national guard.
Somebody's like, what are we taking away? You know what I mean? Like, we watched them against Millville go from a passing game to putting Nakeem Powell in the backfield and running ground and pound and beat Millville.
Yep. We were at that game, yep.
Like, they literally pivoted. They're like, okay, this pass is not working right now. We gotta, go to running back, switch it up, boom. Next thing you know, they're just like, it's one of those things, man. Tough game, tough one to go into.
Yeah, and you mentioned the defensive line only rushing 4 and the depth that they have there. And that's the thing with good teams like that. We could sit here and, as you said, we could go through all the names and we'd be probably missing some people because there's a lot of talented players on this team. But that's the thing. I experienced it in my life playing basketball, where I've been lucky enough to play with some talented players where I might be the 5th scoring option on the floor. But guess what? Now I'm out there scoring because everyone else is focused on these guys. I just got to come out here, play my role, rebound, set a screen or something. Next thing you know, I'm getting an easy layup in transition or off a pick and roll or something. It's making it easier for me. And that's what's going on here. You got so many weapons on offense to where when someone else whose name you might not hear as often, when their number is called, guess what? They're going to go out there and make a play.
Right.
And that's what makes it so hard. It makes it unstoppable.
And I'll say this too, like, when you're on a team as talented as Winslow, right? People start to say, oh, it's a stacked team, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Well, what generally happens is, I'll speak for the receivers, right? You got 2 guys that are the guys, right? That we all talk about. When you have them making the bulk of the plays, you can have a guy like TJ Maddox, who's a young up and coming player, sophomore year, I believe.
Yeah, sophomore.
He doesn't have to make all of the plays for you, right? He can go out there, make 3 to 4 plays a game, and he's going to look like he's bigger than life because you have those guys, and that's complimentary football. I'm not saying that he's not good. What I'm saying is it helps having those other guys where all of the pressure is not on the young guy. And we saw it with Cam Miller. When he was there at Winslow, he was making the big plays, and then you had Boomer, who was like, who is this guy? You know what I'm saying? And Cam graduates, and now Boomer's the guy. Boomer's going to graduate. Now TJ's the guy. You know what I mean? Like, they have it rolling in. And it really helps when you're in a room like that when everybody's complimenting each other. And it's not just one guy where all the pressure is on. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a little bit different game for some of the guys, but they complement each other very well. And I'll say this, the way they have transitioned from opening week to now as being a team, and you can tell, right? You could tell early on they were still trying to figure out who they really were, who was the guy, who had a voice on the team, what was my role, everybody. You know what I'm saying? When you're on a talented team, everybody's trying to make a play. Now it's kind of like, yo, we all going to eat. So I just got to play my role, and that's going to ultimately help the team, and I'm still going to shine. Like, that's where they are right now, and they look like a hungry pack of wolves. Like, I'm just watching the clips against, Millville and some of the games before. It's kind of like, whew, it's a tough one.
Yeah. And one player I want to mention, as we said, we can sit here and mention names all night from Winslow, but you mentioned a couple guys. One guy I want to mention is Quade Hendricks, transfer they had from Burlington Township. I remember when we were out there, prior to the season when they were preparing for IMG Academy and talking to Coach Bill Bellin, and he was like, yo, Hendricks is special. He's like, I think a lot of people are going to be talking about him this year. And he's like, I don't know if a lot of people know about him, know how good he really is. And I remember saying, I was like, Oh, I know Quaid. I remember
Yeah.
watching him play basketball at Burlington Township, and in my opinion, last year he was the best basketball player in Burlington County, and obviously a state champion track star, and he was good at football when he played there. He's been good since he was inserted into the Winslow lineup, and just another one of the players that adds another dynamic to the offense. And it's sort of like when we had Ahmad Jodes on Camden from on the show earlier and mentioning, he's got so many guys he could throw the ball to. Guys are patient; they wait their turn. There's no one's mad that they're not getting the ball. It's a similar situation at Winslow. You got so many guys you can go to. It opens up the offense. It makes it easier on the quarterback, and there's so much cohesiveness, a lot of chemistry there, to where you don't have to worry about guys getting mad and whatnot. Guys are going to make plays when their number's called. So.
Yes, sir.
Winslow hosting Brick Memorial, as we mentioned, Saturday, November 22nd, 1 p.m. That's another one. Get there early. It's going to be packed. Past couple weeks, this past week, and the week before, coming back from the game I was at, riding past there, this game was Winslow was still in progress, and it was packed. Even though the score was a lot to a little, it was still packed.
Yeah.
So this is a team that's looking to win their second straight Group 4 state championship, so it will be packed. So make sure to get your tickets now and get there early Saturday at 1 p.m. And then our last one, we want to talk about Group 5 state semifinal. Some people you talk to in South Jersey, they might say this is their game of the week. Not even in South Jersey, maybe throughout the entire state, being that it's a rematch. And we talked about how it was an instant classic, possible game of the year candidate earlier this year. I know, Chris, you were at that game. Kingsway was leading Washington Township by 12 going into the fourth quarter. Washington Township rallies for a 39-36 win. They'll meet again in the Group 5 state semifinal this upcoming week. Kingsway defeating Atlantic City in South Jersey Group 5 last week. Washington Township defeating Old Bridge 38-7 in Central Jersey Group 5 last week. Undefeated Washington Township pursuing an undefeated season, back-to-back sectional titles, seeking their first state final appearance. Last year they fell short at the Toms River North, who, as we mentioned, has won multiple Group 5 state championships. There will be a new Group 5 state champion this year. The keys here, QB efficiency, the tempo, the defensive pressure. And as I said, I mentioned with Kingsway, seeing them this past week, and their quarterback, David Oravets, dual threat, he's like the perfect high school quarterback. You watch, he's tough, he's a great leader. He could throw the ball, he's sturdy, he'll run the ball and take hits. He don't care. It's the perfect example of what a great high school quarterback is. And he was very efficient in that game, as I mentioned. They were able to run the football, get chunks on early downs, whether it was him, whether it was Cole to Nick. Painter, we mentioned, got a little bit more of a workload this past week. They were utilizing a lot of quick passes, sending a guy in motion, getting him outside, and then having someone come inside to where it was kind of keeping the defense on their toes. They were spreading the defense out, so they could beat you in a variety of ways. So I think that efficiency will be a big key here, because Washington Township, I think, we were going to talk about, I've seen one of these segments we were talking about impressive wins and stuff like that. And we were talking about we were supposed to talk about what team has looked the most impressive at this point of the season. I think Washington Township would be my pick for that. I mean, I know they had a tough one with Kingsway earlier. They had to rally in that game, but these past couple weeks, Washington Township looks like a team on a mission. I mean, they're experienced. They play physical. I mean, we talked about Andrew Osborne the past couple weeks. I was talking to Sully at the Cedar Creek Mainland game last week. He was at the Washington Township game the night before, and he was like, dude, I know Andrew Osborne made some guys just not want to play football anymore. He said he was running through them. He said, you got this guy coming around the outside. He said, you got a defensive back who's, 50 pounds lighter than him, just having to take him head on, one-on-one. That's not a fun position to be in when you're a defensive back in that position. But I think, they're just rolling on all cylinders right now. We had their coach on a few weeks ago. We had Jair Moore on the show after they defeated Kingsway. They know what they have. They know what the mission is. And they haven't gotten ahead of themselves, but they've been playing like a team that knows they're the favorite and they need to handle business. They don't make many mistakes. If they do, as I mentioned with Cedar Creek in that game last week, they just come right back. If they get a penalty, it's all right. They go back to the line of scrimmage. They get together, and then they go and they get the yards back.
Yeah. I'm looking at this one because it's hard to beat a team twice.
Yeah, exactly.
The last game was kind of close.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Township is in a position. This is where they want to be because they've been close a couple years. You know, they've been eliminated. Now they're the team to beat.
Mm-hmm.
I just think this group of kids, their focus has been, like you said, they have been laser focused. And I go back to, 7-on-7, seeing them out there, and I keep saying it. Once I saw them being able to compete with some of the quote unquote more athletic teams that throw the ball and have good DBs. Once I saw that they were able to do that, I said once they add in the run game, their defense, and just the way that they play, they're going to be a tough out. And right now, they're proving everything that we've been, saying all season, being one of the first to have them in the top 3, top 2 in South Jersey, where people were like, "Why do you have them there?" And I'm like, because we've been able to see them. We know they have the senior leadership. Cole has been there running the offense. They've had those moments where they were able to, pull out late victories. We go back a couple years ago when they beat Winslow on a last Hail Mary play. So this group of kids have been on the receiving end of the good and the receiving end of the bad, right? Being eliminated early. So I just think they've been laser focused, but saying this about Kingsway. Kingsway is a throwback team. I look at the Nick when I'm watching the highlights. He got the neck roll. He's running people over. He's running past them. Like he's putting pressure on the defensive backs to come up and actually tackle. Mm-hmm. No, they don't really want to tackle him, right? And then you got this massive quarterback for high school that's able to impose his will. So that's why they're always going to be in the game and have a chance to win it. You know what I mean? Like this is going to be I think it's going to be another really good game. I think everybody probably thinks Township is going to win. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kingsway pulled it out. I mean, they've just displayed after the Camden loss, and they've come back and they've shown like we're here, man. We could play. So
yeah, and they're another team similar to Washington Township. They've been rolling on all cylinders, and you mentioned it's hard to beat a team twice. And as we've said, in that game against Washington Township that first time, it wasn't like they just kept it close with them. They were leading by 12 points going into the fourth quarter.
Sheesh,
so
kind of close.
Yeah, this could be another instant classic right here. And that game was that game at Kingsway or was that at Washington Township?
That was a Township.
That was at Township, right? So they're going on the road again. They're already used to this. They've been there before. They've heard the cannons go off.
Yep.
So this makes for an interesting matchup. This one is Friday night, November 21st at 6 p.m. Group 5 state semifinal, Kingsway and Washington Township. Winner of this will advance to play the winner of Passaic Tech, and I'm drawing a blank, Chris. It's Passaic Tech
So West
and
Orange?
West Orange.
No.
Yes. No,
that was this past weekend that they played.
I usually come in prepared, but this one slipped my mind right here.
We good.
I know it's PCTI and somebody else. I honestly, I'm not too sure.
But and then Group 4, I forgot to mention Group 4 winner of Ramapo, and here I go on another blank. I literally just did an article on it today. When they're going to be playing the winner of Ramapo and Phillipsburg. I know.
You go.
Simple. But yeah, Passaic Tech in Group 5, and I think it is West Orange.
No, because I'm pretty sure didn't Passaic Tech beat West
I
Orange.
thought West Orange lost.
Yeah,
Passaic
I think it was
Tech might have
this
played
past
them this past week.
It's all good.
I'm just curious now. But yeah, so Washington Township, Kingsway, winner to the Group 5 state championship. So
Bridgewater Raritan, Group 5.
Bridgewater Raritan. There you go. Yeah, because they just won their first sectional title in school history, 24-14 win this past week. So winner of Bridgewater Raritan and Passaic Tech will face winner of Washington Township and Kingsway. Great job, Chris. We appreciate you for that one.
Good job, Chris.
So moving on now, we'll move to our fan mail social interaction segment. If we got any questions in the chat, anything you guys want us to touch base on before we head out, just drop them questions in the chat there. Or
Yep.
we got some.
If you're on Twitter and you want to comment and things like that, you have to either go to Facebook or YouTube for us to see it, or you can at Chris. Don't at D2 Sports Network. I'll put Chris in and
trying to take a look right now. See if we
hold
got
on
anything
1 second.
Twitter. Yeah, we got nothing on Twitter.
Yeah, it's nothing popping up in YouTube, which is okay.
Yeah, so I mean, we got a comment here though from Andre Taylor, Haddonfield, Glassboro, Bronx City, Winslow, Brick, both put up points like crazy. Washington Township, Kingsway will all be. I agree. I mean, it goes without saying. State semifinals this week. I mean, all the good teams are left in each respective group. So that's what's exciting about it. I mean, there's a lot of good games. We talked about how in previous weeks there's been debates over the whole playoff, system and everything. We've had several conversations about that. Another one I thought about, over the past couple of days. I'm a fan of higher seed hosting because in big games, because I agree that it's about the hometown hosting, you earn that right in the atmosphere. But in situations like this, it would be nice to have it at a neutral site to where we could see all the games in one location. So like how they did that one year where
Cherokee,
where it was all at Cherokee, to where we could see all the games, because now we're not going to get to see everything all at once, be able to follow along and whatnot. So I don't know. I'm torn on that because neutral location is something I've always been iffy about, but in a situation like this, I could see where it has a benefit. But I'm all for the higher seed hosting, because that's just means more when it's at the team's home field.
Yeah,
you got the fans there and the traditions are on display. But yeah, I think a lot of good games this week.
Yeah, it was just, honestly, in my opinion, it would probably be nice to have it all back in one place again. But
yeah, it would be, because then you get to see everything all at once. You don't miss a game.
Yeah.
If it turns out to be 5 instant classics, guess what? You just watch 5 instant classics. So yeah, I mean, rapid fire predictions producer has for us here. We're gonna go through some predictions. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna pick the winners for this week. What do you guys want to do?
I'll do it.
Chris, you want to pick winners?
I'll walk the plank. I'll walk the plank.
No, it was just something I threw out there. These are ideas.
He don't got to, but he wants to.
I like generally people kind of like we kind of talk about it within what we already say. So yeah, I don't think we really have to do it, Chris.
I got the matchups lined up.
I don't think we.
It's all right.
No, we good. Right. We good. Next week.
All right.
We'll keep that one for next week. I'll keep this in here.
I already know my predictions for next week anyway. So
all right.
Look, see, he's already.
That's better because it's north south or north central.
Yeah,
right.
It could be either or. Yeah,
Central's already technically in our bracket. Well, they'll be the honorary South Jersey team if they beat.
I'm a South 1, South 2 guy myself. I really don't look at it as Central, but I know everybody has.
If the Shore wants to be considered South Jersey, I'm fine with that. Like for wrestling, like.
I just think it's just extra.
You think about it, like
it's just confusing.
A school like Southern, they're more technically geographically south than schools like Glassboro and like other schools in Camden County. Like if they want to become South Jersey, like I'll take all those state championships for wrestling from some Southern regional. But like I'm fine if the Shore Conference wants to be considered South Jersey. I mean, technically, yeah, some of them are more north, but.
Well, it's the worn out debate about is Central Jersey real and all that.
If they call it pork roll, they can be South Jersey.
I think it exists. Like to me, like the shore area, like Toms River, Asbury Park, Trenton, like that's Central Jersey, Monmouth County. But in terms of football, when we're doing these mega
sports,
groups,
sports in general,
just make it South 1, South 2. Yeah. Because up until they divide the brackets, since they made these mega groups, it's just South Jersey.
Yeah, don't really.
Yeah. So if you're gonna just split it up and have it South 1, South 2, because essentially when you're getting to the state championship, it's the South representative versus North representative. Mm-hmm. And that's not me excluding Central Jersey, because I'm one of the guys who believes Central Jersey exists. Like I grew up in an area where you go a little bit north where like Six Flags Great Adventure is, there's farmland. Like that's Central Jersey to me. 195 across the state there from Trenton to the shore area, Belmar, that's Central Jersey. But when it comes down to football and we're doing these mega groups, you got a South representative and a North representative.
We should do
just like Pennsylvania, you got an East and West.
Yeah, and that's all you really need. Because what happens is, a lot of people aren't really diehard fans,
Yeah.
you know, and it's confusing. The inboxes, the comments that we get on some of the stuff that why are they central? Like, it's just,
Yeah, exactly.
it gives me a headache. So
Yeah.
if they can do anything, just South 1, South 2, North 1, North 2.
Yeah.
Here's the thing,
And that's it.
They should have like a line. It's like if you up until it's south, it's it's pork roll, and then you got Taylor ham. Wherever that line's drawn, the lowest point of where they call it Taylor ham, and the highest point where they call it pork roll.
I'm
That's-
curious.
that's
Can I tell y'all something?
Where they draw that line?
Can I be honest?
I'm up in Mercer County.
Be
They call it
honest
pork
with you.
roll, so
I don't even know what either one of them are.
it's pork roll.
I'm-
Taylor ham's the brand, but pork roll's the product.
I don't even know what it is.
It's pork. It's a breakfast meat. Put on a
That's
pig.
it.
Yeah. I'm not sure what part of the pig it's from, but it's good.
Wow.
Tastes good.
Like when people say that, I don't. It
You ever
doesn't.
had pork roll before?
So you don't know what the debate is?
Yeah, it doesn't register to me.
So the debate is pork roll is the name of the food. Taylor ham is the name of the brand, but apparently people in North Jersey call it Taylor ham. Like I want a Taylor ham and egg sandwich. Where we're down here, we're like, give me a pork roll, egg and cheese. So it's like a whole debate on what it's classified as.
So let me ask you, what's the pork? Like, is it bacon or is it?
I'm not sure what part of the pig it's from.
Is it sausage? Like what? Like, or is it just?
It's almost like
It's like
whatever
lunch meat.
what-
Like I'm just trying to
essentially
figure
like
it
a lunch meat,
out.
I think,
Now
probably.
that's another debate. Now that I think about it, yeah, because I don't know. It's just like
All I know is it tastes good. That's all I know.
Man, y'all got to put me on. Then I'm just being.
You've never
honest.
had pork roll?
I've never had. No.
You gotta get on a everything bagel. You need pork roll, egg, cheese, and ketchup. Some salt and pepper on there.
I might leave
On
out
the
the ketchup.
ketchup.
I
On
might
the
leave out the
everything
ketchup,
bagel. I'm
but I
telling you.
could
On everything bagel.
I could attest for everything else. I tend to just make some scrambled eggs and I'll make like 2 slices of pork roll on the side and have that
So
with like
what-
some avocado or something.
That's my question. What does pork roll look like? I don't know.
So
like,
it's just a circular. It kind of looks like ham.
Okay.
It's like a slice of ham.
Okay.
It's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
All right. I got you now.
But I don't
I
know. I
got
don't
you.
know if everyone does this, but I was taught like when you cook it though, like you gotta like slice it a little bit, make it look like
Yeah,
kind
so
of
that
like
way when you-
Pac-Man, and then I
Yeah.
don't know. It cooks better that way. I don't know.
Oh, so it's a thick. It's just like a thick bologna.
I never ate bologna though, so I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know if
Pretty
it's
much.
I don't know if it's
like
compared
Is it
with
a
similar?
different part of the
Like-
pig. I think
Yeah. Okay. All right.
it's like how the different.
That's
cuts
my
of steak
homework
and
for
all that,
the
all
next.
the-
You know.
Hey, well, we got a Saturday game this week, so Saturday breakfast, pork roll, egg and cheese for the football game. So, I mean, that wraps it up for us. We thank you guys all for tuning in to episode 13 of By the Numbers. We had 2 great guests tonight. Camden quarterback Ahmad Jones joined the show, as well as Haddonfield running back Brody Leonard. Those 2 teams both coming off sectional title wins in Group 2. They'll face each other this week in the Group 2 state semifinals at Haddonfield. Definitely looking forward to that one. So, again, we thank them for joining us and all their family members, friends, coaches, teammates, classmates. We thank you for tuning in. Rick, you got something you want to add?
We just hit a program high tonight with 208 people watching at the same time. That was our peak tonight. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Go ahead and follow D2 Sports Network on YouTube. Also, if you're not following us on Instagram, I'll let Kev do that. That's the closing. But I just want to say thank you all for tuning in.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. And also, again, thank you to our sponsor, the C-Bar 2, located on 510 Williamstown Road in Sicklerville, New Jersey, our sponsor for tonight's show. And again, if anyone is interested in being a sponsor, would like to be broadcasted on the show, we're definitely looking for some sponsors and we would appreciate it. And we're willing to work with you and look forward to that opportunity. So just shoot us a message on D2 Sports Network's Instagram at D2 Sports Network, or you could DM either me, Chris, or Rick on Twitter. Maybe not Rick. I think he said he said he doesn't. Don't comment on there because he wouldn't see it when he was saying comments. But
You can inbox me,
Yeah.
not the comments.
yeah, if you message any of us, we'll make sure to get back to you. And again, we thank you for tuning in. It's a pleasure to be able to come here every Tuesday night, sometimes on Thursdays when we have stuff come up, and be able to give the coaches and players recognition for all of their hard work. And we appreciate you guys taking the time out of your night to join us and watch. So again, thank you for joining us on episode 13. We recapped the sectional finals from last week. We previewed this weekend's state semifinals. Make sure to get to some games this weekend. Buy your tickets now. Get there early because these games will be packed. We thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time. On behalf of me, Rick, and Chris, have a great night.